Women have been conditioned by society to be, act, and think a certain way. Here at Girls IRL, we encourage women to challenge societal norms and embrace their femininity. With that being said, let's get into this week's episode. Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Girls in Real Life podcast. I am your host, Mariah Clayton. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope y'all had a great weekend. I am feeling pretty good. Actually, I take that back. I'm not even about to sit here and lie to y'all. I am not feeling good at all, actually. I'm not sick or anything, but I have the worst clogged duct in my right boob, and it hurts so freaking bad. I don't know what to do. I feel like I've tried everything. I've massaged it in the shower. I've used like my little Haka pump. I've done everything. I've even just like taken some pills that I got from Target that's supposed to help like loosen up the fat in there. But it has been nonstop for like 3 days, and my boob just feels hard as a rock. I don't know if it's going to go away. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm almost so close to just like dry me out, give me the cabbage, dry up my supply. Like, I'm done with this breastfeeding mess. And it's so funny because I was literally just talking about in a previous episode that I felt like pumping had gotten so much easier. My milk was regulating, like I was feeling good and doing good. And then out of nowhere, I just have like this clogged duct that will not go away. And it's so bad that like I'm pumping still, and my left boob is making like 9 to 10 ounces every single time I pump, and my left boob is barely making an ounce. And like, that is insane. That is how clogged up my boob is right now. And I'm actually recording this on a Thursday. So hopefully by the time this episode goes up on Monday, it's cleared up and I feel a lot better. But y'all, I wish you could feel it. It is just like so hard and so lumpy. And it makes me want to cry. I literally have cried. I'm just like, I cannot believe that this is happening to me again. It has not been this bad since my milk supply first came in. And that is saying a lot because it was very, very painful. And this is definitely on that level. So hopefully I am no longer dealing with this. I am like literally trying everything, and we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But besides that, I actually am doing really well. It's a beautiful day outside, and Ace is at my mom's house, so I've gotten a little bit of break from him. My aunt is in town. My cousin is graduating this weekend, so we have another graduation party. And yeah, everything else is going good except, my boob situation. Speaking of boobs and breastfeeding, like while we're on the subject, you guys, I have to tell y'all, I got Ace to latch. I could not believe it. I feel like I had been trying a couple of times just like randomly to see if he would do it, and he never did. And then earlier this past week, I was heating him up a bottle and his bottle wasn't warm yet and he was being fussy. So I was like, you know what, let's just try and see. And he actually ended up latching, and I literally started crying. I was like, I don't know why I'm crying. It was just the most beautiful moment, and I felt so connected to him, and it was just honestly like the best thing ever. And I took a video of it, and I took like so many pictures of him just like sucking on my boob. It was so funny. But I was just so excited because I did want him to latch. And with the pumping situation and my breast being so sore and my nipples like aching every single time they were being touched, like I just gave up on the hope of him ever latching and me like physically breastfeeding him. But like I said in my previous episode, like my nipples feel so much better. My milk had started to regulate before I got this big ass lump. And I was just like, I felt more comfortable letting him try. And it was just the best moment. He only stayed latched for maybe like 5 minutes, but it was just the sweetest 5 minutes of my life. And like I said, I literally started crying. It was just the best moment ever. And after that, I think he latched like 2 more times. Like, he latched later that same day, and then he latched again the next day. But I have still been trying, and sometimes he'll like suckle a little bit and then he just gets frustrated. So I don't know if I will continue to try and force him to latch just because I think it's uncomfortable for him and I still don't really know like the right techniques and everything. But yeah, I just wanted to try and I was so happy that I got to have that moment and that experience with him, even if it was just for like one small little moment. But it was honestly just like the best. So yeah, that was really exciting. And then the last life update that I have for y'all is that I have become newly obsessed with the Kardashians. I started watching their Hulu show this past week and I like binged season 1 and season 2 and season 3 is actually about to come out on the 24th of this month. And I don't know what made me want to watch it. I just decided to start and I actually am like really invested in their lives and wanting to know like what they're doing and what they're up to. I think their lives are just so interesting. So that's something new that I've been watching and I cannot wait for season 3 to come out and to see what new drama there is. I don't follow any of them on social media. Actually, I do follow Kendall. But I don't follow Kim or Chloe or Courtney. Like none of that. I really don't follow any of them. And I don't know what came over me to just decide to like put it on and watch it. But it's actually a really good show. And like I said, I am becoming more obsessed with reality TV. So I've just been kind of like trying to find new things that I could just watch and low key kind of like have on in the background. Like I mentioned in a previous episode, reality TV is just like that one thing that you can put on and you can pay attention to it or you really don't have to pay attention to it and you can still kind of gauge what's going on in the episode. So that's why I really like it. Just like something I can put on. I don't have to think. It doesn't I'm not using any brain cells or energy. I can literally just like be and it's the best feeling. So yeah, that's the last life update that I have for you guys. So let's just go ahead and get into the nitty gritty of what today's episode is all about. We are going to be talking about friendships and specifically how to make friends as an adult and like how to keep friends, how to be a good friend. I feel like this is a subject a lot of y'all have been wanting me to talk about for a while and I've been putting it off and putting it off and I'm finally going to talk about it today. And I honestly feel like I've been putting it off for so long just because, honestly, personally, I don't necessarily have the best friendships. And not to say that like I don't have friends, but I just don't think I have a lot of friends or like I guess the best friendships. I don't know. Like don't get me wrong, like I've definitely had a lot of friends growing up and throughout college. But I just feel like as I've gotten older, my friendships have just kind of like slowly dwindled down. And that's also something that I'm going to be touching on in today's episode. But I still did just want to talk about it because it could be helpful for anybody listening who is struggling with current friendships right now or struggling with making friends while they're out and about. And then also just like encouragement for me to remind myself like these are things that you need to be doing too in your life so that you can cultivate the friendships that you do have and then also possibly create new ones. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I really do think like after college, it is extremely difficult to keep friends that you've had and to also like make new friends because when you're in high school and college you're constantly surrounded by people who are the same age as you. A lot of times you are in like these school clubs or these sororities or these sports teams and you are able to be surrounded by people who have similar interests as you. And like I said, like you are forced to literally spend time with these people, whether it's in class, whether it's at practice, or whether like it's in your club or organization. So it's so much easier to make friends in these types of settings because it's literally like a laid out foundation. Like it's a foolproof way to build friends and make connections and to have friends. And then once you get older and you graduate and you're not in school anymore, then you are now placed into this larger pool of people who probably are not the same age as you. You don't really know what their interests are. You don't live in a close vicinity to these people like you did when you were on campus or in your hometown or anything like that. You know, like a lot of the dynamics once you graduate and enter adulthood changes when it comes to building friendships and making connections. And so because of this, there are so many studies that have been done that like prove that as you get older, the older you get, the more lonelier you feel and the less friends that you have, because you're not in that same type of environment that you were when you were in school and when you were younger, which is quite sad, but also like the reason that, some old people feel really lonely, and also like old people, I want to say between like the ages of 50 to 75, like that is the most people who commit suicide in this world, and that's because like they feel lonely, they feel like their life is over, they don't really have anything more to live for, and that is so sad. And so hopefully by the end of this episode you are encouraged to either one, cultivate the friendships and relationships that you already have existing, or two, go out there, get outside of your comfort zone and create new friendships and relationships that will last you for the rest of your life, so that you don't feel lonely, so that you don't feel like you don't have anything to live for or nothing going for yourself. But as we all know, like adult friendships are just so extremely hard. Like it is so crazy that I have friends and we will literally try and make plans to go out, and we have to plan it like 2-3 weeks in advance because of work, because of kids, because of whatever we have going on in our personal lives. Like there's just so much going on at one time, and it almost seems like friendships just kind of get pushed to the back burner because they don't seem as important as other things in our lives at that moment in time. Life tends to get busier and you tend to start creating your own families. Your schedules start getting busier, especially if you have like kids and work and family. Like it's just chaotic at this moment in our lives. So it's like the amount of time that we have in a day is pretty much at an all-time low, because when you're in middle school, high school, college, the only things you really have to worry about is like school, maybe going to practice and doing some homework. And like that's it. Like you don't have kids, you don't really have a job. A lot of us. I know that there are some people who go through high school and college and they do have jobs, but I feel like majority of people, they don't really have a lot of things that are filling their lives up and consuming a lot of time. So you then are able to fill that time with friends and going out and, making all these plans. And now as you're older, you realize like, oh dang, there is not enough time in a day. Like 24 hours is not long enough to get everything done that I need to get done. And it is horrible, honestly. Like it's just such a sad realization to think that we don't feel like we have enough time in a day because our lives are so extremely busy and filled with just everything that we have going on in our lives. And so when you do get those opportunities of having these spare moments or these long stints of time, you are filling it with other things, like making sure you have a clean house, spending time with your kids. Maybe you want to go work out. Maybe you want to catch up on your sleep. Like I just feel like when we get older, we try to prioritize our time. And a lot of times, friendships and hanging out with people are not at the top of that priority list. So, all in all, because of that, having and keeping adult friendships is quite literally probably the hardest thing that we have to maneuver as adults. And I feel like there are a lot of times where people might get butthurt because like, oh, I tried to make plans with my friend and, she has X, Y, and Z going on, or I really wanted to do this with her, but like she doesn't want to do that because she has other things that she needs to do. And I feel like there are so many times where people get upset with other people for not being there for them in the way that they feel like they should. And I honestly think that that is a little bit selfish because, like I said, as we're growing up and as we're evolving into these different people and, having our own families, like we have our own priorities that we need to make sure are like checked off before we could even think about going to hang out, going to do something outside of whatever that set list of things is. So I think as friends to anyone, like you need to make sure that you're giving your friends grace because everybody's not going to have as much free time as you. Maybe some people might work a remote job and don't have to be in an office all day and they can go and get a lunch with friends, but you might be stuck in your office all day, or you might not even like get anything longer than a 30-minute lunch break, and like you want to make sure that you're utilizing that time in a way that's beneficial to you. So honestly, I think like the first step to just like making the most of the relationships and the friendships that you have is you need to give your friends grace and not get so upset when they don't want to do things with you, or they cancel on you, or they're too busy doing whatever else, because it already is stressful out here enough. And like to have someone else adding on to that pressure of like, oh my gosh, I have to hang out with this person or else they're not gonna want to be my friend anymore, or they're gonna have an attitude, or they're gonna be upset with me. Like you don't want to have those types of stresses in your life. Friendships are supposed to be easy. Friendships are supposed to be a way for you to kind of get away from the craziness of life and just sit and revel with people who are going to make you feel better, give you pep talks, hang out, do fun things. It should not be this stressful, I feel like I have to hang out with them in order for this to work type of situation. So I think the number one thing that we have to do as adults is give other adults and give our friendships grace. But anyways, that wasn't even really on my list. That's just me rambling and going off on tangents as I always do. But I do have a list of about 5 things. Is it 5 or is it 4? 5 things that I'm going to talk about in order to kind of like help you, one, either cultivate the friendships that you have, or two, like I said, go out there and make new friends as an adult. So the first one that I have on my list is you need to reevaluate the friendships that you already have. And a lot of times we typically have the same friends from like kindergarten on all the way up through college. And it's very rare that like you try and step out of these friend groups that you've been a part of for literally probably almost your entire life. But as you get older, you are growing, you are developing, your mindsets change, your values change. And with that, you might find that the friends that you have around you don't really line up with the way that you are living your life currently. And so that's why I say you need to kind of reevaluate your friend groups and just see, are these still the types of people that I want to be spending my time with? You need to ask yourself questions like, what do I value? Do these people who I'm hanging out with value the same thing? What type of characteristics are they? Are we still, doing activities that I enjoy doing? Or are they just going out to clubs every single night and smoking and drinking and partying it up like we were when we were 21 years old? These are very important and specific questions that are going to help you kind of navigate whether you should continue this friendship with a person or whether you should just like cut it off. It's sad, but it's true. When you go through this process, you're going to realize that there are some friendships that no longer serve you or fulfill you in the ways that they used to. And that's not to say that the friends that you had were bad people or whatever the case may be. That's just to say you guys are growing apart. You guys are into different things now. Maybe this person is still mentally like in a headspace that you don't want to be in anymore, and that is okay. If there are people in your life who are surrounding you that don't benefit you and that don't make you want to be the best version of yourself, then that is not a friendship that you want to have or keep around, because literally, like, what is the point? You need to be making space for people who like the things that you like, who appreciate the things that you appreciate, who make you feel good about yourself, who encourage you, who line up with the values and characteristics about yourself that you love and care about the things that are important to you. So yeah, if that means I'm going to lose a couple of friends in order to like keep my own peace, then like so be it. Definitely when it comes to friends, you want to have quality over quantity. You want to make sure that you're having quality friendships, quality connections with people, things that are going to fill you up in a positive way and not take away from you, rather than having all of these people who you call your friends, but you can't rely on them. They don't make you feel good about yourself, and so on and so forth. Friends are the family that you literally get to hand pick and hand choose. So if you don't like something about someone anymore and you don't want to be friends with them, like, I am telling you, it is okay. Like, I've had so many friendships that have just kind of like fallen out. And again, back to the first thing that I said with giving people grace, like, you have to allow people to grow and evolve, and you cannot be so like what's the word I'm looking for? So narcissistic that you think, oh, well, this person doesn't want to be my friend anymore. They think they're too good for me. They think that, like, whatever the case may be, whatever narrative you're going to have in your head about it, like, I think that we need to be more accepting of having people come in and come out of our lives. Not every relationship that we have is meant to last forever. Some people are there for a season of your life. Some people are there for only certain aspects. And it's okay for people to move on and to gain different friends and to move on to different parts of their lives. And I think the sooner we realize that, the less we'll have our feelings hurt and our heart broken over, dead friendships that were at the end of the road anyways. And don't get me wrong, like, obviously it is a hard and difficult thing to lose a friend. It's literally like a breakup. But if at the end of the day, someone is coming to you and telling you, listen, this is not good for me, like, I don't think that you are good for me right now, then you need to respect that. And you need to have enough love and care for them to be like, look, I'm sorry that this didn't work out the way that you wanted it to work out. I'm sorry if there was something that I did to offend you, like, whatever the case may be. And you just let bygones be bygones and kind of separate happily. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I feel like every single friend that has walked out of my life or that I've just kind of like lost connection with, I never had any ill feelings towards them. I figured maybe, they just didn't want to talk to me anymore. Maybe I did something to offend them. Maybe they didn't want to confront me, like, whatever the case may be. If somebody walks out of my life, like, I'm going to let them, because clearly that is what they think is the best for them in that moment. And I'm okay with that. So anyways, reevaluate the friends that you have around you, the friends that you have had for years and years and years. And if they still line up with what you like and who you are, then great. But if not, then don't be afraid to kind of cut ties with people, because you're only going to make room for better people and more people to come into your life that actually align with who you are and your values and what you want out of life. So the next tip that I have for friendships as an adult is you need to join a gym, club, or a league. And I guess I shouldn't say that, like, you need to join those things. I guess what I really mean to say is you need to kind of have a routine of things that you do often and consistently. So whether that is a book club that you go to, a gym that you go to at a certain time, a restaurant that you like to sit at a certain time, like, kind of having these routines of things that you do daily on a consistent basis is going to allow you to, one, be around people who have similar interests as you, and two, you're going to kind of see the regular people who come in and out and maybe possibly want to be friends with them. Let's say you go to the gym every single day at 7 o'clock in the morning and you have your typical 7 a.m. gym crew that comes through, and you find yourself going to talk to this same girl every single day at the gym. And now y'all exchange numbers and exchange social medias, and you're making plans and you're building acquaintances, and now you have a deep friendship. You see how that works out? So I really do think, like, having a consistent routine or things that you are a part of is going to make having friendships and building friendships a little bit easier, just because, like I said, they're going to have similar interests as you, especially like if you're in a book club and y'all are like reading these mystery novels. Like, that's of course the one thing that y'all can start talking about, because it's the one thing that y'all have in common. And then through further conversations, you realize that you have this in common or that in common, and they grew up in this part of town and you grew up in the same part of town. You know what I'm saying? So it helps it kind of take the pressure off of like where to start in a conversation, because you already have this similar thing that you're doing or where you're going or that you're interested in, and you can then kind of build off of that initial conversation starter. The third thing that I have is do things you wouldn't normally do. Now, I know I just talked about having a routine and like a consistent thing that you like to do, and that is like true on the one hand, but also on the other hand, like if there's something that you've been wanting to do or been interested in and you just never pushed yourself to do it, do that. Like, push yourself outside of your comfort zone, because when you do that, it's going to allow you to interact with new people. If you have always been interested in like rock climbing and you go to like this indoor rock climbing facility and then you see somebody who you might want to be friends with, again, that's an initial conversation starter. Like, oh my goodness, is this your first time here? And they might be like, no, girl, I've been here like 5 times. Is this your first time? And then you could be like, yes, I'm so scared. And then that person is going to tell you you don't have anything to be scared of. I'm literally sitting here having a whole like friendship conversation with myself, but it's so true, and it really is that easy. You have to be willing to spark up conversations with people, especially if you are the type of person that does not like to start conversations. Because how can you expect someone to just know that you want them to be friends with you if you don't go up and talk to them? Yeah, you might feel a little bit weird or awkward or even nervous or scared, but at the end of the day, closed mouths don't get fed. So if you want a friend, then you need to go talk to a friend. I remember when I was in graduate school, it was literally my first semester there. First day of class, and I walked into, I don't even remember what class it was, but I walked into one of my classes and I saw this girl, and immediately in my mind I thought, oh my gosh, she's so cute, I love her outfit, like just hyping her up in my head, right? And so I decide in my mind, I'm going to be friends with this girl. So I go and I sit next to her during class. And then after class, I start up a conversation with her. And I started to do that. We had like pretty much every class together because graduate school, the classes are very, very niche, especially at the beginning. So a lot of times when you're going in with a cohort of people, y'all are in all the same classes. So I was able to just like sit next to her in this first class. And then because I did that, we got so comfortable with each other. We started sitting next to each other in every single class. And then we started talking to each other as we're walking from one class to another. And then we started eating lunch together. And then she invited me to her freaking wedding. And that's the story. But I'm saying all that to say you have to start up an initial conversation with people if you want them to even, if you even want to have the opportunity of being a friend with them. And every conversation or interaction that you have doesn't have to be like this super deep conversation where y'all are just divulging all of your life secrets and traumas and everything like that. Like it could just be something as simple as you just ask them how their day is going every single day, and then things could build from there. So yes, if you normally wouldn't talk to someone, I'm challenging you. Go up and talk to someone next time that you're out and about. If you have an activity or something that you're interested in that you haven't done yet, go and do it and see the new types of people that you meet. Get out of that comfort zone, girly. You got people waiting on you. Okay, the next tip that I have is try your best not to cancel, okay? I know it is so extremely easy to like want to cancel on people, especially if you're like an introverted person and you just kind of felt bullied into accepting someone's invitation to do something with them. But again, like you have to push yourself and you have to be willing to go out and connect with people. It's easy to give the excuse, oh, I'm tired, or oh, I have to clean, or oh, I have to work. Like it's so easy to do that. But if you want to make solid, strong friendships and relationships with people, then you have to be willing to put in some kind of effort, some kind of intentionality so that they know like, oh yeah, she wants to hang out with me. She wants to continue getting to know me more. You know, like we can build and dive deeper into this friendship because we're spending a lot more time with each other. Whereas if you are constantly canceling plans and backing out at the last minute, then you become that unreliable friend. And at that point, you know, after so many times of cancellations, people are just going to stop inviting you. And like, you don't want that. You don't want to be the person that's not invited just because like you continue to cancel on everybody every single time. So even though it's the easier route when like the day comes and you realize, oh, I actually don't really feel like doing this. Listen, you made those plans for a reason. Like you agreed to do this with this person for a reason. 9 times out of 10, you'll probably have fun, whatever it is that you guys decide to do. And you just need to get out there and do it. Like I said, once you become that person that's always canceling plans, like people are not going to want to hang out with you. People are going to think you're shady, that you're unreliable, that you don't want to spend time with them, and they're not going to invite you places. And like that's not fun for anybody. Like you don't want to be that person that's not invited to the birthday party or to the graduation or to the baby shower or to the wedding, like because they know, oh, if I invite her, she's going to say no. So I'm not even going to waste my breath or energy like trying to talk to her and invite her. Like you don't want that. Put some effort and energy into your relationships. Be intentional about the time that you are spending with your friends and really like make those moments count, because those are the moments that are going to help deepen and develop the relationship even further. Wow, I feel like I'm going through this list so fast. Okay, the last thing that I have written down, tip number 5, is embrace the soft connection. This is basically just saying that every person that you meet, every interaction that you have, every conversation that you have with someone, it does not have to develop into something super deep and like close and be on a best friend level. I feel like if you have this idea that every single person you talk to, you have to become best friends with, like that is just so much pressure that does not need to be there. Just because you start up a conversation with somebody at your job or at the gym or at the restaurant, like does not mean that this person automatically has to become a best friend. It could really just be, I'm starting up this conversation just to have some kind of social interaction. Like I don't even want to talk to this person after I leave here. That is completely okay. Social interactions can make you feel good and give you energy and fuel you in the best way without it having to develop into something deeper. This could just be a random conversation that you're having just for the fun of it, just because it's something to do in that moment, or just because you feel like having a conversation right then. Maybe this person isn't going to be a super close best friend, but maybe this is the person that you talk to while you're at the gym. Maybe this is the person that you like to sit next to at the book club. People can serve different purposes in your life, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, this person is my best friend. This could just be like, this is the person that I met at book club. This is the person that I like to go grocery shopping with. Like, I don't know. All I'm saying is every relationship does not have to be a great friendship, because honestly, trying to have these deep connected bonds with all of these different types of people can be extremely exhausting. Like if you are constantly diving into your life story with every single person that you meet, you are just going to get so burnt out, and honestly too many people are just going to know too much about you. So again, like take that pressure off of yourself of every person that you talk to has to become like a super great friend, because that is not the case. This is my dog walking friend. This is my book club friend. This is my gym friend. And it could literally just be that. It could be that surface level, and it's okay. So, I mean, I thought that I was going to be talking a lot more about that, but I went through that list fairly quickly. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, honestly, making friends is not as hard as we make it out to be. You know, I feel like we overcomplicate things so much, and we put so much pressure on things that we don't even need to feel pressured about. Do you remember like being super young and a child and literally just being able to go up to a random person and start up a conversation? Like I feel like that's the kind of mindset that we need to get ourselves back to, because when we become adults, you know, we have all of these anxieties and we have all of this nervousness and this fear, and we don't want to look bad and we don't want to look awkward. But when you're a kid and you're just out on the playground playing, or you're out at the grocery store and you see another kid and you decide to wave, like that is the type of energy that we should be approaching adult friendships. Like you need to have that childlike energy of, I'm going to talk to everyone. I see someone who looks like me, like I want to say hi to them. You know, like it does not have to be so much anxiety surrounding this topic, you know? Friends are actually very easy to make. It's harder to maintain friendships, especially as an adult, which I've already like covered throughout this entire episode and talked about, but initiating a friendly conversation and making an acquaintance and then it building into a deeper friendship is actually not that difficult. It's just a matter of once you realize that a person you're talking to could possibly become a best friend, or you realize like, hey, I actually really like the way this person makes me feel when I'm around them. I love the activities that we do together. I think that we could, be great friends. At that point, like as an adult, you have to put forth that effort and that intentionality. Again, like I just keep going back to it because, like I said, there's so little time in a day to do the things that we want to do. But if you have someone that you care about, if you have someone that you want to continue building deeper with and connecting with, then you are going to make time for the things that are important to you. And if that person is important to you, then you're going to make time for them. During the week, maybe super hella extremely busy, but maybe on Saturday or Sunday, you have an hour or 2 hours to go and grab lunch or dinner or go see a movie or go to a concert or go do an activity together. Like it really is not that hard. And we have to stop thinking that it is, honestly. Like I said earlier, friendships are supposed to be easy. Friendships are supposed to be fun. Friendships are supposed to fulfill you in the best ways possible. Once you find a good friend, be a good friend. I think that's also where a lot of adults get tripped up, is that a lot of times friendships can feel one-sided. If one person is constantly trying to make plans and trying to hang out and trying to do things, but you're over here not engaging, not texting them back, not calling them back, always canceling plans, like that is when friendships start to become one-sided. So if you want to have a good friend, then you need to be a good friend, first and foremost. Characteristics of a good friend: you're always there for them. If they need to talk about something, if they need to vent, you're able to help them out. If they need, a babysitter, if they are struggling with something personally, like just honestly being there for people and being an open ear and giving good advice and showing up, like it really does go a long way. So don't be that adult that is so consumed with their own lives and their own thoughts and their own issues that you forget, like, oh, I actually have a friend over here who is struggling with this. Let me call and check on them. Let me see if they're doing okay. Like it really is, I keep saying it, but it really is that simple. Check in on your friends, make sure they're doing good, be there for them when they need you. Don't cancel plans on them. And you will have healthy, thriving, beautiful friendships. So, yeah, I think that's all that I've got to say. This is the shortest episode that we've had in a minute, but I'm not mad at it. Like I said, I hope this episode kind of helps you realize that it's really not as hard as you're envisioning or imagining that it is. Get outside of your comfort zone, strike up a conversation with someone, and just see where it leads. Take the pressure off of like having to find the ultimate best friend. Take the pressure off of trying to find people who are going to be your bridesmaids one day, because I know that's what you worried about. I be seeing so many TikTok videos where people have like 10 bridesmaids and all the comments are like, wow, like I don't have friends like this. I only have one friend. I only have two friends. I have no friends, like there's so much stress that surrounds having friends and keeping friends, and it really should not be that difficult. Like I said, some people can still be friends with people that they've been friends with since they were 5 years old. Some people change and become different and their values don't align anymore. So now like you have to walk away and find new friends, and both are equally beautiful and both are equally okay. Like I don't want you to feel bad for not having the amount of friends that you thought that you should have, or not having the same friends that you've always had. I have a friend who we met in the 4th grade, and we were inseparable from 4th grade throughout probably our sophomore or junior year of college. I mean, best friends, talked all the time, hung out all the time. Like literally you saw her, you saw me, like that was us. And now today, are we that close anymore? No, we're not. We hardly ever hang out. I hardly ever call her, text her, whatever the case may be. But also I know that if I really needed her, I could call her up and be like, yo, look, such and such is happening. Like I need to talk about it. and she would pick up the phone. I know that if I wanted to come over to her house, I could. I know that we could legitimately like pick up right where we left off and be good to go like nothing ever happened. And honestly, that is the beauty of a low maintenance friendship. I probably should have talked about low maintenance friendships in this episode, but that really is the beauty of a low maintenance friendship. Somebody who like doesn't pressure you into going out if you don't want to go out, somebody who is not constantly hitting you up trying to do stuff, somebody who just is there and is reliable, and you know that no matter how long you go without talking to them or hanging out with them or being around them, they're still going to treat you the exact same way. They're still going to show up for you. They're still going to be there. That is beautiful. So yes, while having friends who like to go and do things and that you're talking to them every day and y'all are staying up to date on each other's lives, like that is great and that is awesome. But it is also great to just have a low maintenance friend who you might talk to once every few months, and y'all might go out once every 6 months, and like that just is the extent of the relationship, and like that is also okay. I don't know how I got on that subject, but anyways, this is me just rambling as I always do. Yeah, I'm just gonna end the episode here, but like I said, I hope this encourages you to cultivate the friendships that you do have, or to go out there and make new friends and not be so afraid or anxious or stressed about the possibility of having friends. I love y'all so much. I hope you have the best Monday, the best week, and I will talk to you guys in my next episode. Bye.